As I walk up the stairs to this pulpit this morning, it reminded me of the first time that I was asked to bring a message to the congregation. I thought it was going to be the last time I was asked to do such a thing. Not right. Gloria and Marcy, I really, they harassed me. I told them no several times, however they persist. And then they got Reverend Ann involved. And she called and she said all the things that you'd like to hear someone say about you, and you know it wasn't quite true. But you accepted anyway, because it was compliments. It was about 25 years ago when then rector, Warner Trainer, asked me to bring a message and to speak on the issue of same-sex union. That was tough. It was the time when they were trying to do marriage in the church. There were lots of other people from Belize and from America who thought that that was not a good thing to do. So I prayed, I got dressed, I took out my best silk blouse, and I decided to pray from the heart and speak. And then those of you who know me, especially my sister Marilyn, will tell me, Helen, think before you say something. You don't have to say that, Helen. You don't have to repeat that. I'm Helen. So I got up, and what I did, I compared blacks to gays. And here I had, including my mother, sitting in front of me. Thank you for doing the 8 o'clock service for me, because that was the worst time that I stood right in front of the congregation. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm in trouble. I look at their faces, I'm in more trouble. And then I tried to explain by saying, you know, if we had a choice, we wouldn't be black. They lynch us, they put us in a corner, they use us as slaves. So if gay people had a choice, they wouldn't be gay because they were tarred and feathered. That would make it better. But I'm not going to go on with that. I'm going to say to you, the next time someone asks you to bring a message, do not wear a silk blouse. Lord, may these words remind us that we are the stewards of this land and not the owners of this land. Let us be reminded and be mindful to protect and preserve what you have commanded us to do, to use this land to be fruitful and faithful stewards. You have asked us to leave the land better for the generation to come. As you have commanded us, we will, in Jesus' name, continue to protect this land. I know that most of you remember this patriotic song, words written by Edward P. York. And based on today's theme, I believe it's most appropriate to sing this song. God's goodness gave this land to me, to honor and to love. O'er all this earth there's none so free, say those who leave this shore. This noble spot makes me rejoice. 116, verse 16 tells us, the heavens are the Lord's, but the earth he has given to the human race. There is a natural inclination to be less invested in that which we cannot touch. We have heard the phrase, out of sight, out of mind, right? I am just as bad as the other to do this as well. Sometimes when I come to Los Angeles and I stay at my son's house, I go out and I buy food, I get things together, and I eat less than I used to eat when I was much younger. So the food is in his refrigerator, and it's there, and it's there for 42 years, and I'm using 42, this is our 42nd anniversary. So it might be there for only 39. And he would say to me, Mom, you are creating a science experiment. But I come back next year and I do the same thing because I don't want to throw away the food. So I save it and then I allow him to get rid of it. Sometimes what we do is hazardous to the ocean and or the air or in the community in which we live. But especially the social environment and threat that we see or we don't see and others see. We take care of who we are in front of us at the time. And I'm going to use this because those of us who are born in the city or live in the city think about the others as Bakabush. So we forget the Bakabush people and we destroy the land for them. What does that mean? And why am I talking about this on Belize Day? It means that we need to do our part to ensure that lands and people are treated justly by both us and by others, both near and afar, those both seen and unseen or unheard. As Christians, we must pursue justice for one and justice for all. It means that we need to keep everywhere and every place, including beautiful Belize, in our hearts and in our minds throughout the year. And today is just a slight reminder of what God has given us to do. In his book, Clarity and Truth, Pope Benedict XVI shares, and I quote, "The environment is God's gift to everyone, and in our use of it, we have a responsibility towards the poor, towards future generations, and towards humanity as a whole. Our duties towards the human person and is considering himself and in relationship to others that we must make wrong right. It would be wrong to uphold one set of duties while trampling on the other. Those that know me know that I am not an expert in the sustainability. But when it comes to the environment, I am more a generalist. I am, though, and have long been a general for justice. And I am a proud and outspoken Belizean. It is from these positions that I bring words this morning. Belize is a small but mighty country, thousands of miles along the Caribbean Sea. Belize is one of the youngest nations to gain freedom from foreign imperial rule. Belize was a British colony since the storied Battle of St. George's Caye on September 10, 1798. As school children, we used to sing and march, and each school go to their separate way at the end of the parade. And I remember going to Ebenezer Primary School with them to barracks. And all I was looking for was that brown bag with a piece of light cake and some lemonade. And let me remind people that lemonade didn't mean lemonade made from lemon only. It was a cool drink to quench your thirst. So when you go to the line and they give you a cup, they ask you, what kind of lemonade you want? Strawberry, pineapple, and you decide which one you like. You were glad to take those shoes off that you marched in from Big Bridge down to Barracks Road. Your feet was now hurting because I don't know about you, but we were poor. We didn't realize it, but we were. And so the night before the march, my mother would take me out on Albert Street to go buy a new shoes to march in. Well, there was Bata on one side, those of you Belizean who remember, and Wallman on the other side. And Wallman was the cheaper of the two. So who can tell me which store we went to? Well, it was late. It was time to close up the market, and there was only one shoe left, and it was about a quarter size smaller than my feet. But I was not going to go march on 10th of September without a new shoes. So I forced my foot in. I tried getting, and I'm hoping, God, please let my mother find another 25 cents so we can go to Bata, because Bata had the shoe. Nonetheless, we did that. We marched. We had a great time because we were celebrating this which we are accustomed to. All of our election after we became independent, resulting in peaceful transfer. As you look around the world today, people are fighting about power. We weren't that way. We didn't know anything about that. We know we voted. As a matter of fact, I was about 18 when I left Belize, but I had already started my journey on political parties. And I was NIP, and that's why today I had to wear my red and white. Because NIP wore red and white and PUP wore blue and white. And then I thought, well, now we're independent. I could grab another color. So that's why I have red, white, and blue. But we had mahogany that was long gone by exploitation. So Belizeans, please remember who we are. I heard of offshore oil drilling and about how it will damage the environment. Let us be aware that we are more than a little country. We have a lot of nature to boast the beauty of what we have. So here is just a few examples. Belize is the home of the only jaguar reserve in the world. Impressive architecture from thousands of years ago are found throughout the country. Some of the tallest man-made structures in Belize are actually ancient Mayan temple. Belize Barrier Reef is the second largest in the world. It holds the lofty honor of being on the World Heritage Sites. It was also on the endangered places list in past years. And my daughter reminded me that has been removed from the endangered list about 5 years ago, thanks to the government policy and global conservation effort that we went back to a place of honor. These things sound good, but what is next? Where do we go? How do we protect and support? How do we keep from getting back on that list of endangered places? How do we keep from getting exploited again? Well, when the teachers would complain to my so-called aunt about my cousin's inability to do the work or learn in class, my cousin would say, this is in Creole, if I want learn, I learn. If I don't want learn, I don't learn. That means that if I want to learn something, I will. If I don't want to learn something, I won't. I ask us, Belizean, to want to learn about the state affairs in Belize. And it is our Christian duty, and then actually learn. Here are some of the things we can do. We can support education, scholarship, leadership programs in the country. I remember each year we got dressed up, and I know many of us are in here. The men wear their tuxedos and the women wear their ball gowns. And I know each of us as Belizean, we didn't wear the same gown each year. We had to go out and get a new one so they could see us in the one that we wore last year. And we danced and we had a good time, and it was a fundraiser for the Anglican College in Belize. We could do that. We can personally acquire land or adopt environments. We can task ourselves who buy land to do so and act responsibly. Look beyond the simple means of profits. And we should always pray for the people and for the land. And again, Psalm 116 reminds us that God has given us the earth to make us rightful stewards and shepherds of the earth. So, we can speak because God gave us voice. Another little story from my past. My sister still sitting here, her son is in class, and she get a call that Leon talked too much in class. So she talked to him, and he said, I'm not talking, I'm sitting here, and my mouth fly open and words come out. So I'm asking you guys to let your mouth fly open and sing the praises of Belize and look at what is wrong and then do what is right. Sub umbra florea. This is our national motto, or slogan. Translated from Latin, it means, under the tree we flourish. Let's keep Belize flourishing as Belize celebrates the 42nd year of independence. Let's keep Belize in our sight and in our mind and in our prayers, and continue to realize that God has given us this land to protect. I am going to close with the motto from the Daughters of the King. I am but one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. What I can do, I ought to do. What I ought to do, I should do. And by the grace of God, I will do. Let's do. Hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip.